Wichita Liberty TV, featuring host Bob Weeks. Local politics without the spin. Interviews with nationally respected economists. Hear directly from Kansas conservatives about what matters to you. It's individual liberty, limited government, and free markets. Wichita Liberty TV.
Hello, I'm Bob Weeks for Wichita Liberty TV, your weekly source for news, analysis, and commentary about Wichita and Kansas government and public affairs. We're broadcast on Great Plains Television, channel 26.1, also its companion website, kgpt26.com. Some of you may know me from my blog, The Voice for Liberty, at wichitaliberty.org. There the motto is individual liberty, limited government, and free markets in Wichita and Kansas. If you'd like to learn more about the issues covered today or to contact me, please visit wichitaliberty.org. Subscribe to the email newsletter. You can like The Voice for Liberty on Facebook or follow me, Bob Weeks, on Twitter. Well, during the campaign for the 1 cent per dollar Wichita City sales tax last year, a city document promised this if the tax passed. It said, the process will be transparent, with reports posted online outlining expenditures and expected incomes. And the Yes Wichita campaign promised reports will be measured and reported publicly. And they're referring to the economic development component, the jobs creation component of the sales tax. And reporting like this is a good idea. And the city should do this even though the sales tax did not pass. Yeah, we were promised a website if the tax passed. And if it's good for citizens to have this type of information if the sales tax had passed, well, it's also good for us to know in any circumstance. So why is this information about economic development not available? Is it that the city's communications staff is overwhelmed and have no time to provide this type of information? Well, during the sales tax campaign last year, Wichita City staff had time to prepare news releases with titles like City to Compete in Chili Cook-Off and Jerry Seinfeld Returns to Century 2. And since then, the city has hired additional communications staff, adding a strategic communications director in March. And now, while the city's Facebook page has some useful information, well, there's also plenty of time to promote Barry the Bison playing golf. And Wichitans have to just wonder, was transparency promised only to get people to vote for the sales tax? Or is it a governing principle of our city? Well, I think I know the answer. Here's another example. The Wichita transit system is a matter of intense interest right now. Funding for the system has been a problem for some years, and money for the bus system was part of the sales tax last year that Wichita voters rejected. So what is the city and the transit system doing to make information available? Well, the answer is not much. Some of the fundamental documents of government agencies are agendas, agenda reports, and minutes of meetings. And yes, there is such a thing as the Wichita Transit Advisory Board. But good luck finding agendas and minutes for this board. They do not exist. Well, I'm sure they exist somewhere, but they're not available on the city's website or on the transit system's own website. Now, I'm sure if you call or write someone at the city, they will send these documents to you. But that takes time, both for citizens and government workers. Now, it's not difficult to do this, to make government documents easily and readily available. There are many city agencies that make documents available, like the City Council itself and the Airport Advisory Board. Earlier this year, a local activist mentioned the lack of agendas and minutes for the Transit Board, bemoaning that there was no part-time web person to post the documents on the Internet. Well, I'm here to tell you, you don't need a web person to do this. It is so simple that anyone can do it for free. Now, here's an example. This summer, as Sedgwick County was preparing and debating its budget, I wanted to do some research on past budgets. But on the county's website, the only budgets available were for this year and the last year. There was nothing else. So I asked for budgets and other financial documents, and I received them on CD, compact disc. But then I created a shared folder using Google Drive and uploaded these documents there. Now these documents are available to the world. They can be found using a Google search. And here's something just a little bit ironic. These budgets had been on the Sedgwick County website at one time. Someone made the decision and took the effort to remove them. Well, creating this depository of Sedgwick County budget documents costs nothing except a little bit of my time. Well, if you have a lot of data to share, you might have to pay Google a little bit, like maybe $10 per month for each agency or person. But it is so simple. There is no excuse for the failure of agencies like Wichita Transit to make documents like agendas and minutes available. You do not need specialized personnel to do this. All you need is the will and desire to make the documents available. Well, here's another example of how simple and easy it can be to achieve transparency. Now, these days, live and archived video of governmental meetings is commonplace. Well, common that is, except for the Wichita Public School District. If you want to view a meeting of the Wichita School Board, you must either attend the meetings live in person or view delayed broadcasts on cable TV. But there's a simple and low-cost way to fix this problem. It's called YouTube. Now, last year when the Sedgwick County Commission was faced with an aging web infrastructure for its archive broadcast, it did the sensible thing. It created a YouTube channel and uploads videos of its meetings. Now, citizens can view Commission meetings at any time on desktop PCs, tablets, and smartphones. This was a great improvement over the old system, which was difficult to use and required special browser plugins. I could never get the videos to play on my iPhone. Now, the Wichita Public School District could do the same. In fact, the district already has a YouTube channel. Yeah, I know it takes a long time to upload 2 or 3 hours of video to YouTube, but once started, the process runs in the background without intervention. No one has to sit and watch the process. Well, earlier this year, I asked, why does the district not make video of its meetings available archived online? And the district responded that it has a long-standing commitment to the USD 259 community of showing unabridged recordings of regular Board of Education meetings on Cox Cable Channel 20 and more recently AT&T UVerse Channel 99. And yes, these meetings are broadcast 7 times a week, starting the day after each meeting. 2 of the broadcasts start at 1 a.m. Now, showing these meetings delayed on cable TV, it's okay, and it was even innovative at one time. But why are not these meetings shown live? And what if you can't watch the meeting before it disappears from the broadcast schedule after 1 week? What if you don't want to pay cable television bills? What if you want to watch meetings on your computer, tablet, or smartphone? I don't think the fact that meetings are on cable TV means that they also cannot be on YouTube. And there are 2 elements of irony here, if that is really the correct term. One is that earlier this year, the Wichita School District considered hiring a marketing firm to gauge its reputation and suggest new branding strategies. Well, here's an idea. Act as though you actually care about people being able to view the district's board meetings. And second, in August, the Wichita School District raised property taxes. The mill levy will rise by 2.86, which is an increase of about 5% from its present level. The projected cost is an additional $33 per year for a home that's worth $100,000. That is a large tax increase. And that's bad. And what's also bad is the district's lack of respect for taxpayers. As I've just told you, it's difficult to view a meeting of the Wichita School Board. And that's a sign that the district prefers to operate in the shadows as much as possible. Yeah, the board will raise your taxes, and at the same time keep it difficult for you to see them do it. Well, just for the sake of completeness, let's not let the state of Kansas off the hook. Currently, the proceedings of the Kansas Senate and House of Representatives are not available on video. The audio is broadcast on the internet, but live only, no archiving. You must listen live or figure out some way to record it on your own. But for $8 per month, the legislature could make its audio proceedings available to listen to at any time. For $8 per month, at least one podcast hosting company offers an unlimited plan. Unlimited storage, unlimited bandwidth. That is just what the legislature needs. And since the audio of the proceedings of the House and Senate is already broadcast on the internet, well, it must pass through a computer somewhere. And that computer could also be recording the audio. Once recorded, the process of uploading the audio to the podcast host is a trivial procedure. But neither Kansas legislative chamber records their proceedings, according to the Secretary of the Senate and the Chief Clerk of the House. Because I asked. I asked for recordings of sessions, and they replied, recordings of past sessions are not available because they are not made. It would be simple to record audio of the Kansas House and Senate and make it available for anyone to listen to at any time. It is almost without cost, and it would have great benefit. Oh, and I can't forget the federal government. In January, I requested a document from the United States Department of Energy. I had several conversations and emails with the records clerk. We came to agreement as to what I would receive, or at least what I'm requesting to receive. But I've received nothing so far. I don't know if the document will be made available to me at no charge, or will I have to pay several $1,000s. The Department of Energy is working on my request, they say. Our Congressman Mike Pompeo and his office have intervened on my behalf. But after 9 months, nothing. All these levels of government, city, county, school district, state, federal, they say they value open records and transparency. But let me ask you, do you think they really mean it? Welcome back to Wichita Liberty TV. I'm Bob Weeks. A proposed special tax district in Wichita holds the potential to harm consumers, the city's reputation, and the business prospects of competitors. And besides, we should not let private parties use a government function for their own exclusive benefit. Well, here's what happened. In August, the Wichita City Council created a community improvement district to benefit a proposed hotel in West Wichita. Now, CIDs are a relatively recent creation of the Kansas legislature. In such a district, merchants may charge additional sales tax, up to an extra 2 cents per dollar. In the present case, the developer is going to charge hotel guests an extra 1 cent per dollar in tax. If retail stores are developed, their customers will pay the CID tax also. This extra sales tax, minus a handling fee, will be periodically remitted to the developer. Now, one reason to oppose the formation of the CID is it contributes to Wichita's reputation as a city of high taxes. At wichitaliberty.org, I created an example of what a hotel bill in a CID will look like. There's, first of all, the existing guest tax of 6%. This year, the city started collecting a 2.75% tourism fee this year. How many cities charge visitors a fee for visiting? Then there's the combined state and county sales tax of 7.5%, and then the CID tax of 1 or 2%. The total of these is either 17.25 or 18.25%. Now, the mayor and city council members note that these taxes are paid by people from out of town, and they think that's a smart strategy. But some significant fraction of these taxes are paid by Wichitans, particularly by the many companies that have their scattered employees travel to Wichita. And has anyone ever paid a hotel bill for visiting friends and relatives? These are a lot of taxes. For a 3-night stay in such a hotel, assuming a $125 daily rate, taxes for the visit would be $68. Do we really want to punish our guests with these taxes? And a city tourism fee? Yeah, welcome to Wichita, indeed. Now, another important public policy issue regarding CIDs is this. If merchants feel they need to collect additional revenue from their customers, well, why don't they simply raise their prices? Well, we can easily see their rationalization, their line of thought. It's better for us that unwitting customers pay higher sales taxes rather than higher prices. We can blame government for the taxes, but we get the money. Well, let me clarify something. The premise of that question is not entirely accurate because it is not the merchants who receive CID funds. The landowners, the landlords do. So the more accurate question is really, why don't landlords raise their rents if they feel they need or deserve more revenue? There is also the competitive effect on other hotels in the area to consider. Some hotel owners feel the ability of one hotel to collect the CID tax for its own benefit gives an unfair competitive advantage, and they testified so before the City Council. There are also customers to consider. Customers of merchants and CIDs ought to know in advance that an extra tax is charged. Some people, primarily myself, have recommended warning signage that protects customers from unknowingly shopping in stores, restaurants, and hotels that will be adding extra sales tax to purchases. Now, developers who say they want to benefit from CID money, they tell us that merchants object to such warning signage, fearing, and I think rightly so, that it will drive away customers. State law is silent on this. The City of Wichita requires a sign indicating that CID financing made the project possible, with no hint that the customers will pay additional tax. The city also maintains a website showing CIDs, but this form of notification is so weak to be meaningless, but that was the council or the decision the City Council made. So, community improvement districts allow property owners to establish their own private taxing district for their own exclusive benefit. This goes against the grain of the way taxes are usually thought of. Generally, we use taxation as a way to pay for services that everyone benefits from and from which we cannot exclude people. An example would be police protection. Everyone benefits from being safe, and we are not able to exclude people from participating in and benefiting from police protection. But community improvement districts allow taxes to be collected for the benefit of one specific entity. And that goes against the principle of broad-based taxation to pay for an array of services for everyone. But in this case, the people who benefit from the CID are quite easy to identify. They're the property owners in the district. We should not let private parties use a governmental function for their own exclusive benefit. And there's another consideration. As reported in the Wichita Eagle, the restaurant on this site had been vacant for about a decade. Supporters say the newspaper referred to the property as blighted. The council member that represents this area says it is dilapidated and has been vacant for a long time. It was described as contributing to an unsightly first impression of the city. All of that is true. Now, this is a commercial property. And for residential property in Wichita that is in bad shape, well, the City Council routinely orders its demolition. This week, the City Council was scheduled to consider condemnation of 2 houses in Wichita. In both cases, the Board of Building Code Standards and Appeals recommended demolition of the buildings and at the owner's expense. Now, action like this is common for residential property in Wichita, demolition at owner's expense. But we don't often see commercial property demolished by City Council action. So let's contrast the city's routine action regarding blighted residential property with what the council did for an owner of a blighted hotel and restaurant. The council allowed the owner of blighted commercial property located near the airport to collect additional sales tax from future customers in order to pay for demolition of the hotel and restaurant. But what about houses owned by poor inner-city residents? Well, they must pay to demolish their houses. So why is the city likely to demolish two obscure houses while it let a long-time blighted commercial property languish in what was described as a highly visible location? And why does the city charge homeowners for demolition, but allows a commercial property owner to pay for its demolition with tax money? I simply do not know. Welcome back to Wichita Liberty TV. I'm Bob Weeks. The Independent Institute is a think tank located in Oakland, California. You've seen its founder and president David Thoreau on Wichita Liberty TV before. The Independent Institute says its mission is to boldly advance peaceful, prosperous, and free societies grounded in a commitment to human worth and dignity, and I think it does a great job. Now the Independent Institute has produced a series of humorous and satirical videos to present lessons about the nature of government. The Institute says Love Gov depicts an overbearing boyfriend, Scott Gavinsky, who foists his good intentions on a hapless, idealistic college student, Alexis. Each episode follows Alexis' relationship with Gov as his intrusions wreak comic havoc on her life, professionally, financially, and socially. Alexis' loyal friend Libby tries to help her see Gov for what he really is, a menace. But will Alexis come to her senses in time? Well, we've already seen episodes 1 through 4 on Wichita Liberty TV. Now, here is the final episode in the series focusing on privacy.
Oh, Alexis. My Alexis. Why do you pull away from me? There's so many dangers out there. Terrorists, marijuana, trans fats. I will keep you safe. Always.
Weirdo.
So my life is basically ruined. I'm bankrupt. I'm in a dead-end job, I have no home, and I'm still paying for pediatric dental for some reason. And it's all Gov's fault.
How bad is it? So, are you finally done with Gov?
That's the thing. Can I be done with him?
What do you mean?
I just can't seem to get rid of him. I've been doing all I can to avoid him, but I think he might be spying on me. Whoa. Somehow the other day he replied to an email I didn't even send to him.
Weird.
And I keep seeing that thing.
Go about your normal business.
What's that?
I'm a bird. Tweet. Ignore me. Tweet, tweet, tweet.
This has to be my second or third worst breakup.
Oh! I am so glad that you are here, Alexis.
Who was that?
That was just my friend from the cell phone company.
This is my phone number.
Lots of people have the same phone number.
That's not how phone numbers work.
Oh, okay, Miss Graham Bell, Miss Phone Expert. You know what, this is your problem. You always focus on the minutia when you should be focusing on our future together.
We have no future together. And I want you to leave me alone for good. And that means no more following me and no more spying on me.
Spying on you?
Yeah.
Spying?
Yeah.
Oh, that's rich. I would never spy on you. You know, this is exactly what you said when you were alone in your bathroom on January 17th, 6:18 p.m.
Ooh, what are you looking at?
I was trying to turn it when you went that way. And then we gotta coordinate this a little bit better.
These are my emails.
Don't freak out. I'm just scanning them for keywords.
What keywords?
Well, here's a list of them.
That's an English dictionary.
And I'm not even reading them, all right? I'm just analyzing the metadata.
The what?
Okay, think of it this way. It might be creepy if I went to your mailbox and I opened up all your letters and I read them, line by line. But it's not creepy. I simply collect information about those letters. The addresses, who sent it, when they sent it, how thick the envelope was. And then I use that information to be compiled so I can make conclusions about your beliefs and behaviors.
Actually, that's super creepy.
Oh, I've checked the legal precedent for creepy. It's not.
Why are you doing this?
To protect you from terrorists.
You're insane.
All right, you might not think that you love me, but it's still my job to protect you. I'm like Batman. No, that's silly. He doesn't have any superpowers. I'm more like Aquaman, but a land Aquaman. Instead of commanding fish, I command everybody.
You don't command me. You're an arrogant jerk who screws up everything he touches. You talked me into racking up $40,000 in student debt. You forced me into a healthcare plan I couldn't afford. You ruined my business. You spent all my money. We're done. And stop spying on me, weirdo.
Alexis, don't forget about me.
Oh, I won't. I'll remember you every time I write a check to pay my student loans.
Oh, good, so you're still paying those. Hope I can return the drone.